What's going on, everyone, from Overtime Heroics? My name is Dan Podolsky, and I'm joined here with a very special guest, Terrance T-Rex McKinney. Terrance, thank you so much for taking the time.
No problem, brother.
And so, what I want to do, Terrance McKinney, you're one of the hottest prospects in the lightweight division. What I want to do is go through the top 15 at lightweight and just give me your thoughts on each fight. So, number 15 right now in the lightweight division, Damir Ismagulov. He's a Kazakhstan prospect. Terrance, tell me what you know about him and your thoughts on him in a possible matchup.
For me, Demir, he's probably to me is like the most technical guy in our division. He's very clean, very fast, and yeah, he got good takedown defense. Very good striker. But I noticed something. He has like this weird twitch. I don't know if he has Tourette's or anything. But yeah, he does this thing with his eye. If you go watch his fight, he like blinks, and like for him to be doing that and blinking like with his one eye, like, and it's big. It's like a big blink, like you can see it. So for him to like beat people up still, it's just incredible. For me, I think he's a fun fight, but I'll just have to wrestle him, and I think he'll get the job done.
It's a fair point. He's someone who flies under the radar because he's gotten a lot of decisions, I think, and he hasn't been the most active guy, but definitely an intriguing prospect. The next guy in that division is Jalen Turner, one of the hottest prospects on a finishing streak right now. Just finished Brad Riddell in 40 seconds with a guillotine. Give me your thoughts on him.
I'm really liking his like involvement. Like his hooks are looking nice. I'm liking his body shots. He's staying more long. I think he's more ready to defend the takedown now. But like I tell people, there's like levels to this wrestling stuff, and I seen what Pavola did to him. So, and I know I can out wrestle pretty much all of these guys. Like I can wrestle all of them to the top level. People don't understand. Like I wrestled for a long time, but and then I got really good. Was able to almost go to the Olympics. So.
Mm-hmm. And I want to quickly ask one thing because I hear your 1 month old son Elias in the background. Now that you're a father, how does that motivate you more as a fighter?
It's everything, man. I got to give him the world, and I'm ready to go out there and get the job done every time until we get the belt.
Mm-hmm. That's awesome. And then so just moving forward, 13 in the division, Dan Hooker has been in the main events, has been in these big fights. Moving back up to 155, he's scheduled to fight Claudio Puelles soon. What are your thoughts on Dan Hooker?
I think he's a Hall of Famer. He got a Hall of Famer fight, in my opinion, him versus Dustin Fourier. That fight was top notch, and I think that's going to be in the history books. But I think that took a lot of life off of his fighting career, and I don't think he's been the same since. So, but I am rooting for him to make a good comeback. But like I said, the damage he took that fight made him not the same.
Yeah, and he had back-to-back damaging, crazy fights. He had the one Paul Felder was a crazy fight, and then he had that fight with Dustin Poirier. That's one of my favorite fights in recent memory. But Dan Hooker, hope he returns against Claudio Puelles. Hopefully, he gets that win. We'll see what happens. Number 12 is Conor McGregor, biggest star in the sport. You know, as an upcoming fighter, let me ask you: is it sort of your goal to get to that level of fame in a way that Conor McGregor is at?
I don't even care about the fame, but if I can get to that level of money, God, it's great. I'd rather
Mm-hmm.
get there. So like my son has like a future business I can just give right to him. So like the whole family's secured for the rest of their life.
I mean, everyone wants to fight McGregor for that payday, but is that a fight you're looking at right now?
I'm not worried about McGregor. I don't even think he's at the 155, but if I fight him at 170, that'd be sick.
Fair enough. And then another, staple of the lightweight division at number 11, Tony Ferguson, moving up to 170 this weekend. Obviously, he's the boogeyman. He's been one of the top guys for a while, but on the decline, I'd say. What are your thoughts on Tony Ferguson?
I'm excited to see him at 70. People don't realize he started at 170 and he was knocking a lot of people out. So I'm hoping he wins, man, but like you guys know, um yeah, he's he's just getting older, man, and he needs not tapping and stuff, and he's doing too much damage to his body.
Do you think he has another title run left in him at 170?
I don't know about a title run, but I think he's gonna give people a problem though for sure.
Mm-hmm. Are you picking him or Lee John Long this weekend?
I'm going with Tony.
You're going with
He,
Tony?
he looks healthy.
Fair enough. I think I'm rooting for Tony. It's going to be a toss-up fight for me. I definitely want to see Tony make that run, but we'll see what happens. Number 10, one of the young prospects was just in a crazy 5-round fight. It's Arman Saruki. And have you thought, is he on your radar? And give me your thoughts on him.
He's definitely on my radar. Definitely one of the guys I want to fight.
Mhm.
And yeah, he's a beast. But I think I can make that aggression his downfall. I'm accurate. I'm
Mhm.
clean, and I think I can catch him and then catch him early.
I think some of Saruki in comparison to you is that he's a very technical fighter, but he's not always the fastest starter. You, on the other hand, come out guns blazing, going for that kill at every second right away. And I agree with that take. I think in a fight between you guys, first round, I think you could definitely get that finish if it
Yeah,
comes.
I got all the advantages. I'm taller. I got longer reach, and he hasn't been kneed like anyone like me. No one's throwing knees up the middle like that anymore. Dan Hooker was good at it, but I think like I'm bringing it back to another level.
And so, moving on up the division, the other half of that 5-round main event was Mateusz Gamrot, top prospect from Poland. He's got a big fight coming up with Benil Dariush. Give me your thoughts on Gamrot.
Um, he's like as well rounded as they come, but I seen him get hit, and now you can tell like he doesn't really like it, and then and usually it's only one clean punch get hit by, and I'm hit, and I think I can hit him clean multiple times. I like his style though. Like he mixes up very well, but like people don't understand. Like I can wrestle, so like I don't fear that. So I'm gonna really be throwing stuff that these guys aren't used to people throwing at them.
It's funny you say that too, because I think people are looking at your career, what you've done in the UFC so far, and even we did, your previous fights for the UFC, and they see the 7-second knockout. They see what you did early in the fight against Drew Dober, and they ignore the fact that you wrestled Ferris Siam, got a submission, wrestled Eric Gonzalez, got that submission. I think people just look at you as this wild striker. I think you're more well-rounded than that. Can you speak to that?
Yeah, I have to agree. If because like I tell people, like I made Ferris look like he wasn't even belonging there, and then people were kind of counting him out. But I already knew Ferris was good. There's just like God blessed me with a strength that people won't be able to tell just by looking at
Mhm. The thing, yeah, and you talk about Ferris too. This weekend had the probably the best performance of his career in Paris.
me.
So,
Yeah,
and you
clean.
and you made him look like he didn't belong in the UFC.
Yeah.
And then so moving on up the division, number 7, former champion, but kind of on the decline a little bit, Rafael dos Anjos. Is he someone you'd love to fight? He said he's more open to, fighting some of the younger guys looking for fun fights, and he doesn't see that title run left in him. Is he someone you'd love to fight?
Yes, man. He was kind of like on my hit list to like kind of what fights I would pick once I'm in the rankings,
Mhm.
and he was on the list.
Fair enough. And so the other half of his last fight was Rafael Fiziev, another young prospect on the rise, another guy, I'd say like yourself, who just throws everything to kill. Give me your thoughts on Fiziev.
How tall is he? He's like 5'6", right?
5'7", 5'8". I don't know exactly off the top of my head.
But yeah, man, these guys. I'm telling you, bro. If you're like, I'm not even talking crap, but if you're like that height,
Mm-hmm.
I'm guaranteed gonna knee you in the face at some point in the fight. Like I promise.
Mm-hmm.
Like they're not gonna be able to see it. Like that's probably I work it so much. Like it's my favorite thing to throw, especially if they're shorter. Like if as long as they're shorter, I'm telling you, I can hit the mark.
You talking about that knee up the middle?
Yeah,
And that's what we got Drew Dober with early in that fight.
yeah.
And he's
Or I'm mixing it up too. Not on the body. Like I'm really gonna. I'm telling you.
mhm. And the thing about
I
that
think.
Or go
It's
ahead.
just a matter of time. It's just a matter of time. I promise. Lord willing, God's gonna
Mhm.
bring me the belt, and I just got to put the work in. That's just what it all comes down to. So how bad do I want this?
I do want to go back to Drew Dober because that, it's the only loss right now in your UFC career, but you're even in that fight, short notice, you're the first guy to knock down Drew Dober. That guy is known for having a chin made of granite, and you knocked him down early in that fight, almost got the finish. He's someone who's also just outside the top 15. Would you want to run that back with him, and where do you see him going forward?
I'll fight him again any day, especially now that I'm picking my shots. I'm more calm, as you guys see, and I'm making sure I'm actually looking for the submissions and the knockout. So if I'm hurting them, I'm looking for the submission,
Mhm.
and making sure like I'm wrestling early and not being worried about going to the later rounds because I got a strength and conditioning coach now. Dylan Limmer needs the truth, so we'll be ready.
And I do want to ask that because what people will say right now about your career, at least from the UFC, you have 4 fights. Longest fight's been about 3 minutes. They're going to say you come out quickly, you have this crazy power, always going for the kill. They're going to question your cardio after looking at the Drew Dober fight because you got him down early, tired out a little bit, and then he was able to finish you. Is that something that you think was a product of being a short nosed fight, or just you came out too aggressive and you need to be more patient? Like what went on with that fight with the cardio?
It was a little bit of everything, and I already knew I was about to get tired, so I was like, I'm just gonna put it the kitchen sink on him and just try to get on here fast
Mm-hmm.
because that I was just coming off the Ferris fight, so I was like, I was having fun and stuff. I just won. And then I had the fight, and I got the call. I was like, "Damn!" I was like, "I'm with it," because like I said, I'm not one of these guys that just be talking. I
Mm-hmm.
took the fight right there, and then I was already big, way bigger, and I had to lose like 20 pounds that week.
Mm-hmm. With that fight, do you think like comparative to a fight where you would have a full camp, do you think that makes that big difference where you wouldn't come out as aggressively?
Yeah, the full camp and just the experience, like I got to evolve from that loss. I know, like I said, how to pick my shots,
Mm-hmm.
and then how to be aggressive and then calm, so I'm not gassing myself out. Like I just saw my last fight. I was ready to go 3 rounds. So it'd have been easy.
Mm-hmm.
That was the best I ever felt.
In the Drew Dober fight?
No, in my last fight
Okay,
against.
against Eric Gonzalez. Um, yeah, and then so going back to the rankings, number 5, it's Beneil Dariush, chronically overlooked fighter, hasn't fought over a year, he's been dealing with injuries, but he comes back soon against Mateus Gamrot. Give me your thoughts on Dariush.
I think it's gonna be. I think he's gonna get knocked out
Really?
by Gamera. But he's good at if he can get the grappling in there.
Mm-hmm.
But I just seen him rock so many times. The car rocked. Alex Hernandez put him to sleep. I think just a young athletic guy. He starts out too slow for them.
And so I'd say a guy who starts out too slow, maybe doesn't have the best chins, what you're saying. Give me your thoughts on a fight with him.
He was actually on the list too, man. The people I wanted to fight once on the ring, and I think I put him out. And the only reason I say this is because this is just destiny, bro. Like this is all God was doing, bro. Like once this is all said and done, bro, it's gonna look easy, and people are gonna know that I had God's favor. Like it couldn't have been anything else, because it's gonna almost look unreal. It's gonna look fake.
Mhm. Moving on up the lightweight rankings, number 4, Michael Chandler is coming off one of the KOs of the year of the last few years, knocking out Tony Ferguson cold with a front kick. Really, the first guy to knock Tony Ferguson unconscious like that. He doesn't have a fight book. There's rumors of him maybe fighting Dustin Poirier, but give me your thoughts on Michael Chandler.
I like how he fights. So it'll be a sick fight, honestly, for as long as it lasts. It'll be a dope fight.
Mhm.
But yeah, that dude is a tank. He works hard. But I just think I just see a lot of things that I can just really get him, because he loads up a lot
Mhm.
because he's so powerful. Like he loves his power too much, and it's been showing. And when you're clean, once Justin Gaichi calmed down, he started clipping him up. So like really, I just know I just have to stay calm in the storm. And uh, he's just like I said, he's one of those short guys, and I'm telling you, need him in his face. Like, and I know he don't like to get hit. He like the dishes out, but I can tell he don't like it.
Mhm.
He don't like it when it's done to him, and I'll expose that.
So, let's say you fight Michael Chandler, you think you're gonna catch him early?
It's gonna be a good fight. Probably later, like 4 minutes in, but yeah, I think I can catch him early.
Fair enough. And so you mentioned Justin Gaethje. He's number 3 right now, coming off that title loss to Charles Oliveira, but one of just the most wild, fun fighters in the UFC. Give me your thoughts on Justin Gaethje.
He probably has the nastiest leg kicks. They look painful, is it? Painful, painful. And but he can crack, so it would just be a dangerous fight. Like
Mhm.
that'd be a fight I would have to be smart because like he'd be swinging them.
Yeah, I think with Gaethje too, it's his leg kicks mixed in with his wrestling, but also his ability to take damage and then keep coming forward is what makes him so scary.
Yeah, exactly. That's why, like I said, I'm making sure like I'm looking for the submission and the knockout. And I think everyone knows like I'm not talking crap. He's a really good fighter, but his grappling I think is his weak point, in my opinion.
Yeah, certainly throughout his UFC career. I mean, he's a Division One All American wrestler, but throughout his UFC career, he hasn't wrestled as much, and he got, submitted by Oliveira. So I think comparative to his striking, which is top notch, I agree with that assessment that his wrestling might not be on par with the rest of his game.
It's just because he fell in love with striking, and it almost happened to me.
Mm-hmm.
So I know the feeling. Like a lot of it happens to a lot of these guys. It's because when you're on a roll like that, knocking people out, man, it just feels it's amazing feeling. You feel dangerous, man. And then like you got to be careful because it's MMA. You're gonna get tired if you're trying to go for the kill like that.
Let me ask you, because you mentioned that, like before you got to the UFC, head kick knockout in 20 seconds, and then you get another knockout in about a minute, and then the 7-second knockout in your debut. Was it tough? Did you get to a point where you're like, damn, my striking is so good, I don't need to grapple? Did you see yourself starting to fall into that trap?
Yeah, it happened and it was actually I had 16 and 17-second knockouts in a row.
Mm-hmm.
16, 17 second, then the 1 minute, and then the 7 seconds. So yeah, I was like, but I grappled after that because Ferris is long, and I know like that dude's a seasoned striker. I was like, I'm not. This dude will probably have hundreds of kickboxing matches, but I was gonna test the waters at first. But he kicked my leg so swift and fast. I was like, I'm good. I'm about to grapple.
Mm-hmm.
That was the fastest leg kick ever. The dude's he's skillful on the feet. So yeah.
I think people look at your game. I know I mentioned this a little bit, but like they see you as just a striker, and they're completely ignoring the fact that you took down Ferris Zion with ease, choked him out, took down, or I shouldn't say, got to Eric Gonzalez's back and choked him out that standing rear naked choke. I think people overlook your grappling.
It's probably my best thing, honestly.
Really, so when you look at your game, you see yourself more, I guess, proficient as a grappler than a striker.
Yeah, like my cardio for grappling is like really good. It's just because like I wrestled for so long, so I just know how to control my breathing when I'm wrestling.
I think that's really interesting because I think, especially the way you came to the UFC and then 7-second knockout, I think people see you as just this crazy striker. But if you're saying your grappling is superior to your striking, that's a scary thought for the rest of the division.
Yeah, like you guys haven't seen it, but it's because I don't like to play bottom. I like to get up, and then like 'cause you can catch some people with some nice stuff off the break when they're coming up or you're getting up, and yeah, but hopefully I'll play guard one time for you guys eventually.
Are we going to see a triangle in your next fight?
I can't expose the secrets.
Fair enough. And while we're on that topic, let me ask you, because you just came off a quick fight with Eric Gonzalez. I know you like to be busy. I also know you just became a father. When do you want to get back in there?
I already wanted to get that in, but right now, November or December.
Do you have a name in mind?
Um, doesn't matter to me. David Green, Jim Miller would be cool.
Mhm.
Um, you guys already know I want to beat the shit out of Paddy, but it's not going to happen. So one of those veterans.
Why don't you think it's going to happen with Paddy?
because I just in my head I consider myself ranked even though I'm not. It's just because the confidence like that I have.
I feel like with Paddy, I feel like that'd be a bigger fight in terms of name value than maybe fighting. And no disrespect to any of the veterans, but maybe fighting a veteran like Jim Miller, Bobby Green might not get you as much name value as if you got that fight with Paddy. And everyone calls out Paddy at this point. I want to know your thoughts on him as a fighter. Kind of how he goes about it. He's got this huge fan base behind him. And how do you think that fight plays out with him?
Um, I like how he gets down. Like you can't, even though he be looking like not the best at first, he knows how to get the job done, and I respect that about him. But I don't really see anything too special about him besides he knows how to promote himself good.
Mhm. What I want to get is propose an idea because I think when Conor McGregor was first coming up, he had all of Ireland behind him. And I think Paddy's not there yet in terms of fame and money and whatnot, but he kind of is on the same track where they're trying to propose him as his next big star. In McGregor's, I think third UFC fight, they gave him a 5 round main event in Ireland. He fought a guy named Diego Brandao. Wasn't that ranked guy, but it was that guy to get him on the spotlight. My idea: 5 rounds in London, Paddy the Baddy Pimblett versus Terrance McKinney. What do you think about that?
It wouldn't make the 5 rounds. I'm telling you, man, I'm hurting that man.
Would you be down to go into enemy territory and knock him out?
Yeah, 100%. I don't get phased by this stuff. I used to wrestle at other people's place, so it's like I swear God prepared me for every moment that's about to come. I wrestled, I've been in the opposing place and still had to get the job done.
Fair enough. I personally would love to see you fight Paddy the Baddy. I think it's a step up for him. I think for you, I don't know if it's necessarily a step up, but it's definitely a name value step up. So I would love to see you take on Paddy, whether it's in London or it's on one of these pay-per-view cards. That's the fight I'd love to see. Moving back to the lightweight rankings. Number two, it's Dustin Poirier. Hasn't fought, in almost a year. Rumors about maybe fighting Michael Chandler. Rumors about maybe going up to 170. He's kind of on the back end of his career a little bit, but give me your thoughts on Dustin Poirier.
That fight would be sick, and I'll try to test my hands. I think he has the best boxing out of everyone that I've seen so far in my weight class.
Mhm. Yeah, I think that's a fair statement. I mean, outbox McGregor twice, outbox Dan Hooker, and even
But
going.
I'll try myself. But 2 rounds because like after the first round of throwing hands and seeing where I'm at, I just know I'll just have to take them down. And then I seen the blueprint, so why would I not follow it?
Fair enough. I think the most underrated thing with Poirier's box is incredible, but I think it's his ability to take damage too. Like you look at the Hooker fight, he almost got knocked down the second round. Against Eddie Alvarez was taking a ton of damage. Even against McGregor in the first fight, like he got not the first fight, but like the first fight in recent memories, the second fight, he got a lot of damage dealt in that first round and then was still able to come back. It didn't go his way against Oliveira, but I think he's someone who's still at that top if he still wants to make that title run.
Yeah, he got the hands to do it. And like I said, that's why I would love to like try it.
Mhm.
That his hands is surgical. Like he's nice.
And then, the final guy, technically number one in my view and most people's view, the champion, Charles Oliveira, guy who came up, started his UFC career 10-8, was, seen as like a journeyman. And then it's just taken his game to a whole nother level. 10, I think 10 straight wins, just looks completely dominant, finishing legends left and right. Give me your thoughts on Charles Oliveira.
Very diverse and has incredible heart. And he's a champ in my eyes. Like he's the guy to beat.
Mhm.
And I think he gets Islam.
You think he takes out Islam?
I think he pulls it off.
Mm-hmm.
People count him out, but man, how can you count him out? We've seen him down and out, man. The
Yeah.
guy knows how to win. And Tony Ferguson can grapple, and he had him in the armbar, and any normal person would attack.
Mm-hmm. And I'm realizing now you say that too, because I skipped over for some reason. I skipped over Islam Makhachev. He's fighting Oliveira for that title, and he's Khabib's prodigy. Give me your thoughts on Islam.
He's big, dude. He's big for 155. Like you just tell he's dense, solid muscle.
Mhm.
Does everything right. You can tell. So I want Oliveira to win, but we gotta be realistic. If Islam grabs him,
Mhm.
it's gonna be a long night. Unanimous decision, but like it ain't gonna be like nothing special to me.
Give because I know you're a huge fight fan.
Yeah,
Give me your official prediction on that fight, Oliveira versus Makhachev.
I just want Oliveira to knock him out third
Mhm.
round
Yeah,
or submit him third round. I wanted to do, but I gotta just be realistic. There's a chance that Islam just
mhm.
unanimous decision easy.
Fair, fair enough. I mean, me as a reporter, I'm not really supposed to play sides, but like secretly I'm rooting for Oliveira. But you know, I'm gonna say I'm neutral, but I'm rooting for Oliveira. I think it's a tough fight. Makhachev wrestling, no one wants to give him credit, but Makhachev's wrestling cardio is just insane.
Yeah,
We saw he's not Habib, but like he's Habib's guy, and like so many qualities similar to Habib.
yeah, that
What I want to ask you too, comparative to a lot of fighters, and we just mentioned, but you're a huge fight fan. As you know, we see you on Twitter watching most of the fight cards. Um, what as like being that fight fan, watching the UFC every weekend, stuff like that, does that do you think give you an advantage in terms of just your fight knowledge?
yeah. I definitely take some few things away from whoever I'm watching. Like I try to at least.
Mhm.
Because you can always learn. You're never too good. This sport's forever evolving, so you gotta be forever learning.
Fair enough. And so another thing too, you've grown yourself so much on Twitter and social media more than almost any other fighter. I actually thought after you got that second seven knockout, you grew this following, and then initially with the Ferris Zion fight, pulled out on fight day to COVID, and I felt people turned on you a little bit, which is kind of weird to see because you were promoting yourself for that fight, and then they kind of turned on you when it got canceled. But now it seems like you're back on track a little bit. What has Twitter done for your career, and what was that like for you?
I like Twitter. Twitter be lit. It'd be fun, and it'd be pretty cool to see your tweets pop up on the TV.
Mhm. Yeah, I feel it. And then another thing too, because you just got on KSI's radar, which is someone like yourself who isn't, you're not a champion, not ranked yet, but an up and coming fighter. That kind of shows that the fact that you're even able to get that response, like people are starting to know who you are.
Yeah, God's definitely moving in my life, and he's like that's why I work so hard on social media because like it's giving me a chance to make money in the future without having to fight, and that's like the ultimate goal, or just to get bigger fights. Once I'm not with the UFC.
Mhm. And then, so on a more serious note, because your life story is incredible. And I don't want to tell your life story. So like, but the quick rundown: you overdosed, died twice, got revived. What do you credit to that? Is that God?
100%.
Mm-hmm. Go ahead.
And I was able to see stuff, and then pretty much what I got of it is like I'm supposed to fight, and went to school, tried to win a national title, dropped out, and I started fighting, and that's all she wrote. So God showed me that before I died, and then I knew it was my destiny.
And I don't think I've ever asked someone a question even remotely like this, but when you hear died twice, that's something you don't hear every day. Like, did you see anything? Did you hear anything? Like, what's that experience like?
I wasn't in. I feel like I'm pretty sure now. Once I figured out I died, I was like, yeah, I was chilling in heaven. It was just like it was peaceful.
Hmm. That I mean, fair enough. That's crazy. I may never have that conversation with someone again, but I'm happy I had it. And just my final question for you, Terrance. You know, you always post like this is my life story. You have that thing where it's like I overdosed twice, but then I had my 7 second knockout. You can do whatever you want if you follow God. When you look at your career 20 years from now, do you want your legacy to be defined by becoming a world champion, what you did as a fighter, or on just kind of how you're able to inspire others?
Just what I did as a person and try to help as many people as I can. And that's the real champion.
Mm-hmm. Fair enough. Terrance, this is awesome. You know, you're one of my favorite fighters. I love watching you fight. I can't wait to watch you get back in there. I love your analysis of the top 15. I think if you want to, you could be a commentator in the booth. Um, thank you so much for taking the time.
No problem, brother. Stay blessed.